Hi everyone, back with another animated review, this time of the anime Erased, which was suggested to me by my friend Juita. So I would like to thank her for that as well as watching this with me. But for this one, I'm going to have to warn my viewers that there are a lot of dark themes here, so be forewarned that this is not going to be one of my happier reviews. So, our protagonist Sutaru can go back in time to prevent tragedies from happening, and when recent events seem to connect to previous disappearances of children and the death of his mother, which he's accused for, he's sent back in time 18 years to when he was 11 and needs to find out who committed the murders and how to prevent them. So that's a very dark premise in itself, and that's what really works. The premise here is great. While there's a lot of stories like this with the idea of time, such as The Girl Who Left for Time, nothing does it this darkly that I've seen. And there are times when you're not sure whether he'll succeed or not because of how these time stories often go. And this one doesn't go the cliche way. It doesn't go straight up one way or another. There are consequences even if it goes well, which is a good thing for the storyline. So its premise is really interesting, and it has some very dark themes that are handled nicely. We're dealing with a serial kidnapper and child killer, as well as an abusive mother. And both are handled with the utmost seriousness, and I feel such hatred towards both characters, and every time they're on, so much anger builds as well as cringing from seeing everything that's going on and fear for the characters. So that's really nicely handled, and they handle the uncomfortable moments very well. Now, I'm saying this is not for you if you like things that are lighter at all, if you haven't figured it out by now. But if you like heavier stories, this is definitely up your alley. It's one that I would find more objectively good than subjectively. Now on to the characters. Sutaru is a great lead. He really is unselfish by using his power to help others and not trying to find a way to get his own gain from it at any point. And he's going through so much nonsense in this one. Being accused of killing his own mother, not being able to find out the mystery right away, nearly dying on a couple of occasions. So, yeah, that is super dark. And it makes his character engaging to watch, and unlike ones where characters just simply go through a lot of trials, like how I felt with Belladonna of Sadness, this, I feel, we have reason enough to want to make sure Sutaru comes out alright, other than just nobody deserves that. He particularly doesn't with his motivation, and he is a very likable character. Airi is a co-worker of Sutaru, and she's just a great ally. She's the only one that believes the best of Sutaru in the present day. So her support really is great, and I'm glad they didn't force it into a relationship, not just because she's 11 years younger minimum of Sutaru, but also it just isn't needed for such a good storyline. Sutaru's mother is also really supportive, and I just love how she helps Sutaru for all that he needs help with helping Koya. And then when things don't quite go how they should, she encourages him more and saying that he succeeded if he didn't want her to feel alone. So that's so heartwarming. Koya is the little girl who's the first victim of the killer, but she also has the problems of an abusive mother, and she becomes friends with Satoru, and it is nice seeing how much she appreciates his help, which, again, I'm not going to get into too much because of spoilers. That's what makes this the hardest to talk about, really. The very idea of the spoilers. And then we have the killer, who I'm not going to say anything about as a person, but I am going to say this, that the very idea of him is terrifying. Now, of course, a child killer is always going to be terrifying in any media, but one of the strengths of this anime is that nowhere feels completely safe, which is a sad truth for many people in this world. Home isn't safe for Koya, and other situations might not be as safe for Satoru and Koya and the other characters as they might initially think. And the killer is a very realistic view of how people that would try to hurt others for their own amusement might be. And yeah, really uncomfortable to even think about. And every scene with him, you want him to die. So, Erased is a great anime with some nice animation that really conveys mood, like some darks and reds behind characters as the whole reveals of who they really are. Some of the way the characters are designed, like the mother, ooh, just so creepy and dark, as well as an already dark premise and execution with some great characters. Now, the only thing is, this is one that is not as recommendable as, say, the Studio Ghibli movies I've talked about, or Pixar, for the simple reason some things are objectively good instead of subjectively. I find movies like Grave of the Fireflies and animes like this to be objectively wonderful, but I probably wouldn't watch them very much because of how depressing and dark they are. So, your enjoyment of that would definitely come from how much you like those types of shows. So, bearing that in mind, I do think this is a very well done anime and definitely worth checking out if you think you can handle such themes that I've already talked on, such as child murder and kidnapping and abusive parenting. If you can get through it all, I definitely would say it's worth checking out. And as always, if you have an anime film you want me to review, please leave in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.